Hello and welcome back to video classes by Konnur English Medium School. Shall we continue the collector's story from where we left off? Great. Now so far we saw that the children have become rebellious. They want to leave the house. They have put on a protest. They have directly told Mrs. Brown already that they know that their teachers have been drugged. And Pete, among all, has taken the leadership of this whole mission of getting out of that house. But is that going to be easy? Let's see. Well, Mrs. Brown is not happy that Pete and a couple of other boys have told everyone that something is wrong with the teachers, that they have been drugged. So she says, how dare you, after all the help that we have given you. You people were getting drenched in the rain. We welcomed you into our house. We provided you shelter. We even went to the extent of getting you tea and juice, and you talk such bad things about us. How dare you, says Mrs. Brown. She says, at least in return, the favor that you could do is sit here quietly and not talk like that. But Pete is not going to accept that now. He says, I bet they are drugged. He says, I am very sure. I bet means I can challenge this, yes? I am sure that my teachers are drugged. I bet they are drugged. Just like the tea you have, Mr. Hunt, you gave Mr. Hunt and the others. And the juice that you have brought for us, there is drug in that too. That's been drugged too. So you gave our teachers tea which was drugged. Now you are bringing us some juice, and I'm sure there is the same thing in that too. The way you drugged our teachers, you are trying to drug us too, says Pete to Mrs. Brown. Mrs. Brown says, now just stop that kind of talk. She is losing her patience now, and she is warning him with clear, stern words. You gotta stop talking like that, because now it's been repeated a lot of times before her that there is drug in the tea, there is drug in the juice, so she can't tolerate that anymore. So now just stop talking like that, she says. And Pete says, I saw them. You got them in the other room drugged. And Pete is not about to give up. He says, well, I know that the teachers got drugged. I have seen them myself. I have been to that room. I have seen them. They were sitting there and they were drugged. You saw nothing of that sort. They were all chatting to Mr. Brown right now. Mrs. Brown tries to change his mind by saying that, well, whatever you saw, maybe you are confused. You didn't see anything like that. Actually, the teachers are sitting there still and talking to Mr. Brown, my husband. They are chatting. They are having a conversation. And Carol says, ask them to come in here, then we can also, so we can see them. See, Carol among the girls is more reasonable, and she can see the truth behind all of this. While Tracy and Dawn, they were very unsure about what was going on. So they would accept explanation of Mrs. Brown, as well as those of the Pete and her friends, their friends. But Carol among those girls, among the three girls, is more sensible when you can see that. She tells Mrs. Brown, if you are saying that our teachers are not drugged, if you are saying that they are talking to Mr. Brown, they're chatting, they're having a conversation, let them see it. Bring them in here. Bring them in here into the kitchen room so that we can see and confirm that ourselves, says Carol. That was a very good, that was a very solid point. Now, if Mrs. Brown refuses to do that, that means she's accepting they have been drugged. And if she agrees to bring them, well, then it's going to be very clear whether they are drugged at all. So Mrs. Brown says, certainly not. I'm not dragging them in here just because of a lot of children's silly fantasies. Well, I'm not going to listen to you children just because you say, bring our teachers here. I'm not going to do that, because those people are sitting there comfortably having a conversation. Why would I disturb them? Why would I drag them here? Says Mrs. Brown. Glenn says, well, let us go in there and see them. Glenn is another sensible person there, and he says, well, if you can't bring them here, that is fine. We want to go ourselves and check that. We will see if they are having a conversation or not. Well, even that is going to be difficult for Mrs. Brown now. So what is she going to say? No, you don't. I'm not going to be ordered about by children. She says, well, stop talking like that. I'm not going to do anything you are telling me. You're children. Okay, and I will not be taking any orders from you. I will not be taking any orders from you children. So I'm not bringing them here, and I'm not letting you go there either. That's what she means there. And saying that, she bars the way through the door. So, and she stands in the middle of that doorway, and then she stretches her arms like that and then stands there as if she is not allowing any of the children from the kitchen to go into the other room. She is blocking their way. She stands there. Carol says she can't stop us on her own if we all try to go. Carol says this to all of her friends, to Tracy, to Dawn, to Glenn, to Wayne and Pete. She says, well, she is one person and we have so many of us here. Well, how can she stop us? If she wants to block the way, then we will push her off and then we can go. That's what she says. And Mrs. Brown knows that these children might do that because now they have decided, they have come to the conclusion that there is definitely something wrong there, because Mrs. Brown has refused to let the children meet the teachers. So she knows that they will push her off and then they will knock her down and then go into the other room. She says, all right, I will go and fetch one of your teachers, stupid children. She is very angry and also helpless right now. She cannot protest. She cannot stand her ground against a group of children. She needs her husband's help now, right? Probably. So, well, anyway, she tells the children that, don't worry now, I will go and then get one of your teachers because you stupid children are making so much fuss here over that. And she goes out. She goes out to saying what? That she would get one of the teachers to come into the kitchen. Again, Dawn and Tracy are convinced that there is nothing wrong. Because see, Mrs. Brown went to bring the teachers and then presently she would come back with one of the teachers and prove that everything was okay. So if she brings one of the teachers and the teacher looks normal, then what does that mean? That means everything Pete had told them was a lie, everything the others had believed was a lie too. So Dawn says, see, she's going to bring them, and Tracy says, they aren't drugged at all, you were trying to scare us. So Dawn and Tracy are now, they're blaming Pete and the other boys for creating all this, scary news. They say, well, nothing is wrong, she's going to bring the teachers, they are not drugged, you people are just trying to scare us. Pete, you are stupid, says Dawn to him. And Tracy says, it's an ordinary house and they're ordinary people. Dawn frightening us like that, you're rotten. So these two girls are now hurling abuses at Pete. They now are very happy that Mrs. Brown agreed to bring one of the teachers into the kitchen room, and that was enough for them to start feeling that everything was okay. But Pete says, I know what I saw. Give us that walking stick, Glenn. He's not bothered about these two girls now hurling abuses at him and not believing him. He knows what he has seen, and he has got his friends, a few of the friends who are believing what he has told them too. So he has got support there, right? So he says, well, Glenn, hand me that walking stick. He has to think very quickly. He doesn't have much time to waste explaining things to these two girls, because if he does that, he wastes time, then there might be more problem. So instead, he refuses to listen to Tracy and Dawn, and he decides to act. Some action has to be taken there, and he has his friend Glenn to help him. He says, Glenn, pass me that walking stick. Again, the walking stick is coming into picture here. Again, the walking stick is going to play an important role, yes? The same walking stick that Mr. Brown had left behind on the chair while the teachers were moved into the other room on the pretext of drinking tea. So Glenn says, here you are. He gives him the walking stick. As Glenn gives Pete the walking stick, both Mr. and Mrs. Brown come in. But by the time Pete could do anything or tell the others what he was going to do with the walking stick, Mrs. Brown comes back and she has brought Mr. Brown with her, not any teachers. She had left saying that she would bring one of the teachers, but instead of any teacher, she has come back with Mr. Brown. So for the first time, Mr. Brown is facing these angry children. Carol says, where is Mr. Hunt? because Carol knows why she had gone out. At least that's what she had told them, that she would bring one of the teachers. So she asks him, where is Mr. Hunt? Mr. Brown now responds. He is responding, he is answering the children now, he's answering to them. Mrs. Brown is not saying anything right now. Mr. Brown says, he won't be coming and you had better drink. Well, now there is no point in hiding anything. See the way he's talking. A lot of things are becoming clearer and clearer. He says, well, your teacher is not coming here and you should drink that drink. Well, whatever drink you've been given, drink that, he says to the group of children. Pete says, don't anybody touch that stuff. And Pete again loudly he says, well, friends, don't touch the drink, don't touch the glasses that they have brought. Mr. Brown says, it will make no difference, you cannot escape anyway. Mr. Brown says, oh well, you are telling your friends not to drink the juice. That is fine, it makes no difference, because even if you don't drink, you cannot escape. For the first time, the Browns have announced that yes, there was something wrong about them. They have made it very clear that they have evil intentions, they have bad intentions, something bad was planned by them, because they are telling the kids, you cannot escape anyway, no matter what you do. No matter what you do, whether you drink it or you don't drink it, you cannot escape, says Mr. Brown. Wayne says, oh no, come on Glenn, let's get past them. When they hear that, those words from Mr. Brown, Wayne loses his patience, he loses his grip, and then he decides to run quickly, thinking that was the only option left for them. And he says, he calls out to Glenn, his friend, let's go, let's run out of here. And he and Wayne make a rush for the door. When Glenn hears this from Wayne, he also thinks that he should try that. So both of them, Wayne and Glenn, they start running and they rush towards the door where Mr. and Mrs. Brown was standing. But one-armed Mrs. Brown brushes them away. They are sent flying across the kitchen. But as soon as they come close, Mrs. Brown just swings her arm just casually like that, and such was the strength in her arm that these two boys are sent flying across the kitchen. They go and hit the opposite wall of the kitchen, and then they fall down. See, normal people cannot have a strength like that. She just brushes her arm like that, just swings it slightly, and there was amazing strength in her arm, and these two boys are sent flying. So one thing is clear, these two people, Mrs. Brown and Mr. Brown, they are not ordinary human beings. They have much more physical strength that you would expect from a normal human being. Mr. Brown says, stop that, we don't want any of you damaged, and either one of us alone is more than a match for any 5 feeble earth children. Mr. Brown says angrily, stop trying to escape, because you cannot escape. And actually, one of us is enough. One of us, that means either Mrs. Brown or I, are enough to stop you from escaping, because it's clear now. They have displayed, they have demonstrated what kind of physical strength they possess. So he says, we don't want any of you damaged. Well, you don't use the word damage with living things. We don't use the word damage with human beings. You use the word hurt instead. But they are saying we don't want you to be damaged. So they are not saying we don't want to hurt you, but instead they are saying we don't want you to get damaged. So why does it say that? Maybe because these people, these boys, these girls, and those teachers are like objects to them. They're not living things, they're not human beings in their eyes, but they are just kind of objects to them. That is why damage, the word damage is used by them. Carol says, if you try to keep us here, the police will come looking for us. Mr. Brown says, will they? They won't find you, you are going away. And Carol now, again, she speaks to the Browns, and she says, well, how can you keep us here? How long can you keep us here? Because very soon the police will come looking for us, because they know that we have come out on an adventure walk. they also know which direction we have gone. So if you hold us back here, then they're going to come here and then they're going to arrest you. So Mr. Brown says, well, are they going to really come here? That's fine, because we won't be here by the time they come. What does that mean, we won't be here? What does that mean, we are going away? Where are they really going? And where are they taking the children and the teachers along? Well, that remains to be seen, and we will get to that in the next video class.